episode of Maine and Mulberry. I'm your host, Annabelle, and today I'm really excited to have with us Katie Stavinoha, who is the publisher for Round Top Publishers LLC in Round Top, Texas. She's here to share all the wonderful things about Round Top, Texas with us today. And Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Oh, Anna, thank you for having me. Round Top's my favorite subject, so love.
We picked the right person to come to, right?
Well, I hope so. I've spent a lot of time out there and have grown to really, really love the various things that you can do in a town of 90 people.
Yeah. A small town, right? It's a small town in Texas.
So it is a small town in Texas. There's lots of great facts and figures about the community. It's steeped in history and culture, has the only sanctioned library in the state of Texas in a town this small. You've got a lot of community support for the culture and education and arts, and it's just flat fun.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And for those of us who've not yet had the opportunity to come visit you in Round Top, Texas, maybe, Katie, can you share with us where you're located geographically, though, in the state of Texas?
Yes. So we are about halfway between Houston and Austin. There are two major thoroughfares to get to there, 290, I-10, you can do it. But it is in the part of Texas where Texas was actually born. There's lots of history, lots of the first capital of Texas is in our area, and it's among the last rural counties in a big area that has about 7 million people.
Wow, how interesting! So for a town that is currently today around the population of 90, how amazing is that? It's kind of the birth, is what it sounds like you're saying, the birthplace of Texas, really.
It's certainly, or at least you can throw a rock to the birthplace of Texas from Round Top. It's pretty strong. There's a great mix of culture too. The area was settled by Germans and Czechs in the 1800s. And so you've got a lot of that type of influence in this area, but it's also 100% Texan.
Oh, I love that. And you know what else I love? If you do a quick Google search of Round Top, Texas, you'll quickly find this little motto of big time small. And I think that is so cute and so fun. And I know a lot of our Maine and Mulberry listeners know that we like to share stories about towns that are holding on to tradition, but also growing. And it sounds like that's what you guys are doing in Round Top.
Certainly, with the strong history and the strong culture and the fact that, it's an easy drive from Houston and Austin, you get a lot of different opportunities that you may not get in a regular small town in Texas. But there are a lot of buildings that date to the 1830s, the 1860s, even, later than that. And we've had generations of people who have been very, very supportive of keeping that historical look. And so you'll see buildings there that are brand new, but you wouldn't be able to tell it from the outside. So there's a really good sense of space and place. And so you can go
a lot. Preserving a lot.
Yes, preserving a lot. There's a historical center outside of town that is maintained by the University of Texas. There is the most acoustically perfect music amphitheater just outside the city limits as well. And then, of course, we've got a couple of big things that go on too.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's so cool. I love hearing that. And you love music in Texas. They go hand in hand, don't they? So having that amphitheater is really nice. So, Katie, maybe you can be our virtual tour guide for a minute, if you will. Really paint the picture of what we can expect to experience when we drive into Round Top, Texas.
Well, no, you can drive in from many different directions, but you're only going to have one red light.
Red light. Oh, wow.
And that's a recent addition. That's only happened in the last 3 or 4 years. So there's still some people who've been around for a while that might not remember it's there. So always drive slow, drive Texas friendly. There is a quaint courthouse in the center of town. It's not used for court. It's not the county seat, but it's a meeting place. But there's a cannon on the grounds of that courthouse. And then surrounding the squares or other squares where you can get anything from, some of the finest Italian food to, burgers and fries and Texas barbecue that is just out of this world.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like a really quaint, charming square then. Somewhere we can eat and enjoy ourselves.
Eat, enjoy yourself. There's lots of live music and just events going on. And the retail out there is pretty robust as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. Speaking of retail, there is one big event in Round Top that really has put you guys on the map. And I'm excited to talk with you a little bit about it today. The Round Top Antiques Show. And maybe you can share with us a little about this incredible antique show that happens in Round Top, Texas, Katie.
So the Round Top Antique Show started in 1968 as a 2-day show in the local dance hall. It has grown exponentially in that time to encompass nearly 3 weeks in the spring and the fall, attracts somewhere close to 4,000 dealers from all over the world.
Wow. Oh,
yes.
Wow, Katie. This is a big event. This is not your typical Saturday morning flea market. We're talking about a really big event.
We are talking about a really big event that stretches over 24 miles. So for folks who think they're going to a fair where it's enclosed in a certain, area and you can walk from place to place, you can do that in parts of it, but you do have to have a car or transportation because people are popping up in front yards, in barns, in old dance halls and new dance halls, and under tents. There's some tents out at Marburger Farm that are, 30,000 square feet. So there's just a huge opportunity for shopping, and it's all rooted in this antiques history that was, started, more than 50 years ago. Today, what you're going to find, though, not only are there fun and expensive antiques, but there's something for everyone. We say, fun to fine and funky to junky. It's all available. And we see so many designers who bring their clients out in their finishing houses or starting houses. It's just a big bunch of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. So a couple of things that you were saying there I want to touch on too. You said this is multiple times a year, right? Not just one time a year.
Yes, spring and fall.
Spring and fall. Okay. And then you said it lasts more than 2 weeks?
It does. It does.
Wow.
It generally on a weekend, and then there's 2 full weeks, and so 3 weekends and 2 weeks. To be able to get all these dealers in and all their merchandise, whether they're bringing containers in from Europe or from the Midwest or from all over, it takes a long time just to set up.
Yeah.
And so you'll have, and it's staggered because of that, which means that, the shopping can be pulled out. We estimate, and there's just no good way of really understanding how many people come. But the estimate by the state of Texas is that there are 100,000 visitors each time.
Oh my
So some cute person, our city limits sign says Round Top, Texas, population 90. Somebody always shows up and comes and adds that comma and puts 3 zeros back there because on days there are 90,000 people out there.
Wow, that is so neat. And I love that you talked about maybe your interior decorator or somebody's coming out with you to help you find some of those home furnishings. We're not talking about just little knickknacks, right? We've got a lot of different items that are coming. And you even said, other parts of the world. That's pretty incredible.
The Continental Antiques, there are, from what people are telling me, there is no other place in the United States that you can get the diversity of the European antiques that you can get at the Round Top Antique Show.
Wow. And do you think you get a lot of repeat visitors?
There's a lot of repeat visitors. This has been a girls' trip for a lot of people, and you'll see busloads of women show up. My husband says he gets drug along to carry things. So that's about
a lot of us get drug along too, huh?
There's drug alongs out there. But it is, we do have people say it's on their bucket list because they've seen it, on HGTV, they've seen it in magazines, they've seen people, come back with these great finds, and it is amazing. 2 shows ago, one dealer brought in an Italian campaign bed, had no idea what a campaign bed was, and it sold north of 6 figures.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I have to admit, I'm in the bucket list category. My mother and I have been saying for years that we're going to come out and visit the Round Top Antique Show and find some of those rare finds that you're not going to find anywhere else. And so I'm in the bucket list category, and I promise I'm going to make it out one of these days. And I bet a few of our listeners are excited too and going to follow suit.
Well, that's good. I mean, you get a wealth of information at roundtop.com. My one suggestion to you is to allow us enough time to look. And if you have the ability to say, I don't want to look at industrial, or I don't want to look at, mid-century modern, you can narrow down your searches so you're using your time wisely. I've had friends go out and they want to see it all, and they just run from one place to the next. Yeah. And at the end of the day, their feet hurt, they're tired.
Had good tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes. Oh my gosh, those people who come out in, open toe shoes, because remember, we've been recycling cow pastures now for 50 years. Wow. So there are cows out in those fields right now where in a couple of weeks the tents will start to go up.
Wow. Katie, maybe you can tell us, you said 24 miles, right?
Yes.
Wow. Really incredible. Are the areas kind of sectioned off in these different themes or categories for antiques, or is it just free for all everywhere?
A little of both. So only the postman knows where one zip code starts and the other one stops. So there's no, but we try to chunk it up by communities. There are sites in Burton, there are sites in Carmine, Round Top, Warrenton, Fayetteville. So all in this little 24, mile area, and you will have solid tents for several miles, and then you have cow pastures. So the best thing to do is arm yourself with a good map and understand which dealers are where, so that you can do that. And again, take your time.
I appreciate you sharing that about the map, because a lot of us will be first-time visitors, and that map would be a really good resource to have on the front end.
It is. And, one of the things that I've seen grow over the last 5 or 6 years is the number of really good eating places. So you have our regular restaurants.
You're going to work up an appetite, no doubt.
Oh, you're going to work up an appetite. So you've got to be well stocked and well hydrated. Keep the water going. Mm-hmm. But there are pop-up dinners, farm-to-table dinners. There's great, used to it would be, hot dogs and, chili and stuff like that. You can get gourmet pizzas. You can get fried pies. You can get, honkin' big breakfast tacos. The food out there has become, very important. And what I tell people is, if you don't like to shop, come eat. If you don't like to shop and eat, people watch, because the people watching is incredible. And if you don't do any of those three, just stay home and get out of our way.
There you go. Love that. Oh, Katie, that's fun. I appreciate you sharing all those things. That's wonderful. Has there ever been a rare find for you that really sticks out in your mind? Something that you found at the antique show you're really proud of?
Oh my goodness.
I know I'm putting you on the spot. You probably have a lot of good treasures.
You are putting me on the spot. I have a thing for little chairs.
Oh, yes.
So I love those, to set at the side of a bed or at the end of the bed, put your shoes on and stuff like that. So I found, one for $4, and I'm really proud of that $4 painted chair.
2 little children, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I love little chairs too. So I'm right there in that camp with you.
and then I was at a booth. We just had our winter show. There is a third show, not as big scale. And one of the designers had, I think there were 12 little chairs hanging on the wall.
Wow. Oh, how fun. That would be a sight to see, really.
So Round Top is really eye candy during the show. You've got people who are coming in, and they're, super merchandisers and super stagers to the point that, there are some places you just kind of want to, bring your toothbrush and move in
Yeah,
because
there
they're
you go.
so artfully curated. And I'm just fascinated and in awe of people who can take, 12 rickety little chairs and turn it into an art installation.
Wow. Me too. Me too. That's creativity I wish I possessed, right? Well, Katie, this has all been so wonderful and so helpful. I'm going to put you on the spot again as we kind of wrap things up, though. For you, having been in the area as a resident, maybe you can share with us, our listeners, what is it about Round Top that really is the best to you? What do you really appreciate above all about Round Top, Texas?
So this is going to sound very trite, and I hear it, but I hear this answer from people who have lived there all their lives to people who just moved in the last, 5 weeks. There is a Round Top magic. This area has always been welcoming to all types of people, all types of cultures, and it just keeps, magnifying. And especially in this time during the pandemic, people who want to get out of Houston, who want to get out of Austin, it's a great day trip. You can socially distance, you can pack a picnic. There are places to stop and enjoy the views. And again, Texans are friendly, and this area seems to have even an overabundance of that, and has really welcomed, all the folks out there. And again, the pandemic has taught us a whole lot, obviously, and it's that you can live in rural Texas and do your job. Yeah. So you've got people who are coming out and bringing their families out and putting them in school and everything. So it's that Round Top magic that is easy to talk about, but really hard to define.
Wow, I love that. Katie, I'm sure a few of our listeners are excited and eager to know, will there be a Round Top Antique Show for 2021? Can we expect to have an event? And if so, do you have the dates for us?
Certainly. We are all planning towards that. The dates are March 18th through April 4th, with the number of venues, call it 65 to 70. Not all start on the same day, not all end on the same date. So I've had, a veteran shopper tell me, come early in the morning, early in the day, early in the week, early in the show. And so you get to see a lot of stuff there.
Keyword early, right? Keyword early.
early is good. And as far as planning, we are moving forward. So many of these venues are outdoor. Okay, and we were able to have a very successful fall show with mask wearing, extra hand sanitizing stations, lots of extra cleaning, and signs everywhere just to remind people to social distance. But you're in a 50-acre cow pasture. You can spread out. People were very sensitive about that. So
wonderful, Katie. We appreciate your insight so much today. Thank you for sharing all the wonderful things about Round Top, Texas, and the Round Top Antique Show. We really appreciate it.
Well, you're very welcome. Would love to have you tick off that bucket list and come see us.
Yes, that's the plan. Packing my bags now.
Okay. Good shoes. Don't bring high heels.
There you go. Comfy shoes. I've got it.
Yes.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Maine and Mulberry. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media channels, as well as our website at www.maineandmulberry.com. Until next time, I'm Annabelle. Did you know subscribing helps keep our content free? Click the subscribe button now.